Hi, I'm Kare. I'm a compulsive overeater. Everyone, I weigh and measure 3 meals a day. If the gray sheet commitment to my sponsor and absence my relationship with God are the most important actions I take on a daily basis. And I'm not just a food addict. I'm a little ADD, a little all over the place. I got to be on good behavior on this meeting. Good Lord. I feel like I'm back in school with all the little rules. But I'll sit up straight and be good. I promise. I won't chat or anything. I promise. So anyway, I'm here. I'm very grateful to be here. Tony must have asked me a year ago. I swear to God. He's so organized. Thank you, Tony, for asking me. Thank you, Sarah, for leading the meeting and everybody for being here. I was a little nervous because I didn't know anybody, but then people popped in that I know, because I'm so used to saying, I have 22 years. I have 22 years. I couldn't remember the date. Because I'm coming up in August, I'll have 23 years. So that's a friggin' miracle that I don't eat sugar, starches, and carbohydrates in 23 years and weigh and measure my 3 meals, 1 meal at a time. And I still love my food. I love this program. I love the crazy friends I have here. I mean, there's nothing like it. Like I've said this before, the community is unbelievable. I've learned tolerance and patience in this program. And when I'm out and about and I see a GreySheeter somewhere, like if I'm in Florida right now, but I'm usually in Boston, so I'll run into more people. And if I run into a GreySheeter, I'm like, you think that I saw God walk in the door. You know what I mean? It's like very different. And I'm in a lot of programs. It's very different than my other programs because we do this no matter what. And it takes work and it takes perseverance and it takes a lot of willingness to do this program, but it pays off. It really pays off. I have 3 beautiful meals. I have a beautiful, beautiful life today. I have had a major no matter what, which I will talk about, but if I can get through it. So, I got sober in 1984 where am I allowed to say that? 1984 where, the miracle began. I remember our friend Dottie from our Cambridge meetings used to say, AA saved my life and GreySheet has given me a life. And, I was sober quite a while and I was still miserable in sobriety. And in my 20s, I think I went to Europe. I gained 4 pounds. 40 pounds. I think I got up to 185, but I think I'm probably the weight, maybe a little bit more than I was right now, actually, than when I came in, a lot younger. Now it's like, the stomach ain't going anywhere, and I'm not willing to give up my big fruit, I'll tell you that right now. So not yet. So I was sober, I guess, I don't know the math, 18 years, I guess, or something. And I was miserable. And I knew food was my problem. I knew it. I knew it from when I was a year sober. I had a sponsor who used to say to me, you're eating a lot of sugar, and another sponsor came when it got into regular OA. And I have a sister who got sober before me and she got into regular OA. And I'm like watching them eat these 3 meals and I couldn't eat without having, I tried it on vacation with my sister to like buy a snack because we were allowed to have a snack besides your 3 meals. And the snacks I would buy were like humongous. Who buys those? You know what I mean? How do people use those little things, plastic things that tie a bag? I would never have those in my house. If it's open, it's gone. That's it. So I knew I was hitting a bottom because I was watching my sister's behavior, my sponsor's behavior, and I saw them change. And I just felt, it was like when I was drinking and people started leaving me. They didn't want to hang out with me anymore. I wasn't pretty, and eating. This is a serious, serious illness. I heard somebody say recently on this other program I'm in that her first drug was fantasy and food. And there's no question about it, that those were my 2 drugs right out of the gate. Because I come from a family of addicts / dysfunction. And of course I'm going to need something to comfort myself because of all the feelings that I had growing up without having, parents there that were, not there emotionally. They were there physically, except my father traveled a lot. And so I got that feeling of abandonment and shame. Like, what did I do wrong? Why are they acting like this? So this is a very shame-based disease. And if we go back to the trauma, if we go back to the beginning, we can get there and we can resolve that. But we have to put the food down first. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to talk about that first, because there's so many of you that are new and counting days, and the journey, my journey is just beautiful. So I don't want to get into a foodalog. I love, I was about 16 years old. I loved Weight Watchers. And my sister used to say, I think you should be a nurse, a prep nurse, because I was so organized. I like everything has a place, So Gray Sheet was the perfect solution for me. But it's more than that. I'm an alcoholic, and I got it. And I'm an alcoholic with food. And that's why Gray Sheet differentiates itself from other programs, is that we consider ourselves, look at the new name of that book, Living Abstinent, Living Sober, Living Abstinent. That's a beautiful thing, So I live abstinent today. I do the basics every day like I used to. I make my phone calls. Well, sometimes I get phone calls a lot. I'm lucky. Or I'm in touch with GreySheeters all day long. There's no question about it. Because I've developed that community. And that's what you have to do, is develop good habits. So besides learning the logistics of weighing and measuring your food, but that's a small price to pay for the insanity that I had about wanting my next fix and just thinking about it constantly. And it was so easily available. And that's why I think food is the hardest program. I have a brother who I was estranged to for years, and now he lives like 15 miles from me in Florida. And, we're back in relationship, which is just a miracle. But he's been taking insulin for 20 years. And he says, but I'll never give up. How do we say it? Anyway, that's stuff. He'll never give up some food that he loves. And that's the food that we don't eat. It's grains, it's carbs, it's like flour. We don't eat that stuff. He would, he's checking his blood sugar all day long. Well, I ate this last night. I woke up at 2 a.m. and my blood sugar shot through the roof. And I said, yeah. I said, people in my program, they heal from that. I said, we're just so lucky because we can get healthy and we have the solution. And I don't know if, anyway, I got off on that tangent. So since I only have 15 minutes, here we go. So I got into my first meeting because I saw somebody in AA who did something crazy with her food. I didn't know what she did. I just said to her, I need help. She goes, yeah, I noticed, so I went to my first meeting. The girl that was sharing has since left. She left at 21 years abstinent, left the program, Susie, and she from Boston, and she was fabulous. She was my sponsor the first year. And she was sharing, and she says, I'm Susie, I haven't had a snack in 6 years. And I said, oh, dear God, if she can do that, I can do that. And I started to cry. And that's how I hit my bottom. And who would have thunk it? Those were the words that would help me hit my bottom. And I didn't have any big binges like the night before or anything like that. I was just ready. Nothing was going to work anymore. So I started weighing and measuring. And I tell you, I was 90 days abstinent, and I bought a condo in Boston. Oh, good God. My life just started to take off like I couldn't believe. And then I traveled a bit, and I learned how to do it, on the road. And then, I had a lot of no matter what's. My mother died. She was on life support. I was in Boston. She was in Connecticut. I go back and forth, and my sister was in regular OA. And I remember when the 4 siblings were by my mother's bed, and my mother, she died. She was plugged, and she died. And I don't know where my brother's other sister went, but my sister was in program. She and I went to the store, bought our abstinent food, and went home and ate. You just don't eat no matter what. So that's just one example. I've had so many surgeries. Dear God, if you ever have to go in the hospital, call me, because I'm so accident prone. That was one of my shticks, that I'm always moving, and I got to keep moving, and I got to exercise, and I'm always running from myself, so I've calmed down quite a bit, but I was always injuring myself. I think that was a great way to abuse myself. But anyway, that's a whole nother program, which I'm so grateful. If I wasn't absent, I wouldn't be doing the work I'm doing on myself at almost 38 years sober and 3 years abstinent. God, I'm telling you, it's fabulous. So what I need to get to is, so I'm living in Boston, and I'm loving Gray Sheet, and oh gosh, where do I go with this? And I'm learning how to, put my food on a scale 3 times a day, and That's a lot of the mothering I get from doing that. That's the self-care. That's the taking care of myself that I never got. I learned how to do that. I learned how to put myself first. I see a lot of people who can't get it, that constantly putting something else or someone else first, because codependency is the root of all addictions. And if you don't get a grip on that, man, you're not going to stay abstinent. You have got to put yourself first. I mean, I'm leaving here in 2 weeks from tomorrow. Well, 2 weeks from tomorrow, my sister will be here. We'll leave probably in 2 weeks from Thursday. I'm already checking my food to see, what I'm going to bring. I've got my electric cooler that we plug in the car. How cool is that? What do I have in the freezer? I'm already thinking, but that's so ingrained in me that it's like a beautiful thing. I don't have to worry about anything at the last minute, or worry about anything when I'm at my nephew's house in Delaware and they're wondering why I can't eat what they have. Sorry, I got my food in the car. That's the way it is. Don't worry. You don't have to go out and get anything special. I'm fine. And that's the way I roll today. I have some GreySheeters here in Florida who I adore. We went to lunch recently, and it's just great to have, have a community here. And I look forward to going back to Boston. So I ended up in Florida 2 years ago today, actually, because here I go, right? It was 11 years ago. I was at a bottom in my life. I was 25 years sober. I was looking great. I was feeling good physically, but emotionally, I just couldn't get it together. And I was like wanting to take a gun to my head. I didn't want to live. And that's in sobriety. And I'm wondering, God, I go to so many meetings, just go to another meeting. I got in a money program. I got in Al-Anon. I got in all these programs, and I still was feeling so sorry for myself. I had such self-centered fear. So what I did was, finally, I didn't want to, because I thought it would take me years, do the steps out of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, like we do in GreySheet, exactly what we do, but with food. And I did it, and I did the writing, and I did it quick. I did it in 5.5 months, because the real work begins after that. I didn't eat. My life started to open up because I stopped depending on other people. People are what made me eat. You let me down. You disappointed me. I need comfort. I need comfort. So I'd pick up the bite. And once I picked up the bite, I couldn't stop this because I have the compulsive physical craving that I can't stop. So now I do the work. My life started to open up. I never felt so good in my life. I was having the best year of my life when I finished that process. I'm telling you. So I think it was like after that, I never had a boyfriend. I maybe had boyfriend here or there when I was active, but I didn't really date. I was like, oh, you're so pretty, weren't you? I'm like, you're never married. You get all that stuff your whole life. But I was really happy in my life. I was turning 64. I was so happy. I had friends that really wanted me in their life. My relationships were changing with my family. And out of the blue, I connected with a guy I had a crush on for 6 years at my big book meeting in AA. I had a crush on him, but it was a big meeting and I was too scared to talk to him. For 6 years, I never told anybody but my hairdresser and my Al-Anon sponsor. Never told my sister, never told a soul. Never talked to him. I said, I give up. My life's good. I'm happy. I look good. I feel good. My job was good. Everything was good in my life. So one night at the meeting, I end up connecting with him. I just asked him to speak at a meeting. He spoke at that meeting. We talked for like 5 minutes before the meeting. I went home. I called my Al-Anon sponsor and I said, I've fallen in love. I have fallen in love. And that's Henry. Oh, Jesus. That's Henry behind me. And we came down here in December. And 4 months ago, this Thursday, he passed away suddenly. And it's the biggest friggin' no matter what I have ever had in my life. I've lost parents. I lost a sister in this program. It's the pain that I have never felt in my life because I finally had a partner. We were both retired. We loved COVID. We had a great life here, and he passed away. And if I didn't have my GreySheet community, I had a woman, Linda from Vero Beach, came over with some food one night, and Kristen was constantly coming over, dropping stuff at my house. And people, I would get calls every day, all day, support beyond belief. And I know that's my time, because a lot of people here do know that happened. And it's almost 4 months. And, I'm starting to make a plan to go back up north, but the past 4 months have been hard, but beautiful, because I was able to be with myself and hang on to my abstinence and be out with nature, which I call the great outdoors, is God. And, he's in here. His ashes are in my locket. And it's hard. I miss him so much. And he backed my abstinence 1,000%. And he ate healthy. He did well, but he had another issue that we now know probably set off even though his heart was strong, everything set off a stroke, and then he got pneumonia and he died from that. So at least I have some answers there, but he was healthy. He did push-ups every day. We rode our bikes. We were out running. We were riding. We were kayaking. We were like very active, and I'm brokenhearted, but I didn't eat. I got up. I was calling crazy on the 5:30 meeting. I had to deal with his kids. I had all this grown-up stuff. And if I wasn't abstinent,
Kare, that's time.
I could have never done it. So I'm really grateful. No, I'm done. Thank you, Catherine. No, thank you, everyone. I'm done. Thank you. I got through it.